the show of Midcap Masala. Let's get started. And indeed, the markets are buzzing because today we have seen all the benchmark indices hitting a record high for themselves yet again. As of now, Nifty 50 is holding strong with almost 30 points of gain, while Nifty Bank is also holding on to the gains of over 100 odd points. But amidst this, the auto counters are indeed buzzing. So let's put the spotlight on the two-wheeler major, that is Bajaj Auto, because the company did come out with its December auto sales data, this time expected to be steady. The domestic performance was okay, but the exports did very well for the company. So let's understand what's the outlook going ahead and what factors and new launches that the company is working with. We have Mr. Rakesh Sharma, ED of Bajaj Auto, joining us. Hi Rakesh, very good morning, and firstly, New Year wishes to you and your whole team.
Thank you, Srishti. Good morning and very, very happy and healthy 2026 to all of you at ET.
Thank you so much, Rakesh, for that. But Rakesh, 2026 looks interesting for Bajaj Auto as well. So many new launches lined up. I'm sure you must be keeping busy with that. But firstly, let's touch on your December auto sales data. This time around, a decent performance, what we will call it. The domestic sales was okay, but exports did very well. So why don't you start by helping us understand what factors are at play with respect to domestic market, which segments are doing well, and in exports, which markets are holding the best for you?
Yeah, quarter three, which is October, December, finally the wheel started to turn in the positive way for us in terms of market share in our core strategic segment, which is the 125cc plus segment. As you know, that it had sort of softened a bit, but supported by the GST cut, which I think unleashed a consumer sentiment for uptrading, was very, very helpful. Because most of our strategy and our product portfolio work is centered around trying to come out with products which offer differentiated benefits and seeking to uptrade the customer into a higher level of choice. And that got supported very well by the environment because of the GST cut. And therefore, of course, Q3 was a record quarter. The industry also experienced a record quarter, but we moved the market share finally positively, albeit with about 1.5 percentage points in terms of Vahan market share. And that was really the other good factor that was driven by our, the key battleground for us, which is the 150cc. It's our key playground for us, where the Pulsar had taken birth. And that was the one which outperformed and drove the 125cc plus market share into an acquisition mode. It had sort of started to stagnate, and we had started to lose a little bit last year.
Okay, second and the third quarter was a record quarter. That's the word coming in. Mr. Sharma, morning. Ashesha this side. Since we are talking about GST rationalization and the kind of benefits the sector is enjoying, do you factor in that the benefit of this will continue as we head into calendar year 2026, and any kind of guidance that you can share with respect to your volume growth?
Yeah, I think the benefits should continue. In fact, they should get reinforced. In the immediate, what happened was that those customers whose wallets were already very strong, when they saw some of the better products, their prices coming down, they immediately uptraded. But I think in terms of widening the base of the pyramid, the demand pyramid, that impact is likely to kick in as we go along in the next few months, because it has dampened, brought down the inflation, and makes the consumer sentiment more positive and puts a little bit more money in the pocket of the customer. The only sort of warning point would be to see whether crude oil related inflationary trends, whether they will mitigate the benefits from the GST rate cut. But the consumer will start to see the household expenditure hopefully come down in the next few quarters. And that would be very helpful in keeping the consumer sentiment positive. So we do expect that the industry should be in a strong, 8 to 12% growth zone. And I must remind you that April to August, September, the industry was actually tad negative -1. So it's quite a bit of a swing. And if the uptrading forces continue to support us, I think we will be very optimistic about acquiring market share and growing our core portfolio, which is also the profitable end of our portfolio, faster than the industry.
All right, but Rakesh, with respect to the export market, even in the December month as well, you have done very well. Give us some sense that how is LATAM, Asia, as well as African markets are doing, and which one of them showed the best momentum in the month gone by?
Well, Srishti, there has been a reversal of trends over the last year in most export markets now. It was started with the LATAM markets, which got into the growth zone, and they continue to be in the growth territory. Now we see parts of Asia, particularly places like Philippines and of late even Nepal, etc., being demonstrating high growth. And then in Africa, we see the clusters around East Africa coming in. So there are these pockets which are quite significant demand pockets where the industry has grown. And in all these markets, we enjoy very good competitive positions, which allows us then to grab a disproportionate share of the market recovery. And that is what is behind the 15-20% growth, which we have been sort of experiencing over the last few quarters. And we expect this kind of growth to be above the 2 lakh export number in the coming months as well.
Okay, so that's the outlook when it comes to export market. But let's also talk about the launches that you have lined up. You are offering special discounts on Pulsar. But if you can put some light on the launches that you have lined up in the next 2 to 3 months.
Well, the Pulsar portfolio has started to get refreshed and contemporarized. That started in November itself. So we have put in 4 new models, which are upgraded versions. And in the coming quarter, we expect to put another 4 or 5 new models. So some of those discounts are aimed at getting the old stock out of the way, allowing the dealers to then fully put their shoulder to the new products and get them to the customers as fast as possible. So it's going to be a very hectic pace between now and May, June, with very, very regular product interventions in motorcycles, three-wheelers, electric two-wheelers, which is Chetak, and electric three-wheelers.
All right, I was just going to talk about that, Rakesh, that what all is lined up in terms of the segments, but you did give us your sense there. But Rakesh, this coming 1st January was also the deadline of the ABS norm kicking in, especially for the 125cc segment and below. What's the latest update on that? If you can give us some sense, believe so that there has been a bit of a delay. Anything that you can share with us? I believe that even you guys haven't gone ahead and implemented the same, or is that the case?
No, see, first of all, the policy has not been announced. It was put up for discussion. And I must say there has been a healthy dialogue between the Ministry of Heavy Industries, including Minister Gadkari, and where the industry has come together under the aegis of SIAM and made the points very positively oriented towards making sure that the two-wheeler experience is a safe one. The ministries have taken those points on board. There is a discussion within the ministry and with their consultants. And hopefully in the next few weeks, or maybe within the quarter, we should be getting the official policy announced.
Okay, but we've also seen a lot of volatility when it comes to raw material prices, right? Say, for example, steel, safeguard duty has now been imposed. What kind of impact is that likely to have on your margins? And are you expected to undertake any kind of price hike in the near future?
Well, I wouldn't say that there has been too much volatility. Yes, there has been raw material inflation driven by aluminium and noble metals, which actually got mitigated to some extent by the soft steel prices, which may not remain soft, as you say, in the coming months. And we have taken already a price increase, which is less than 1%. It's around 0.5% in our domestic markets. And we will see how the raw material behavior is as it is going forward. In our case, it also gets mitigated to quite some extent by the devaluation, the soft devaluation which has occurred between the dollar and the rupee. And as you know, 45% of our revenue is coming from coming in dollars, and that is very helpful. So that allows us to consider aspects like how price increase will affect demand and what is the competitive play, and take those factors into account, and then decide pricing.
All right, Rakesh, and lastly, let's touch on your electric two-wheeler market share as well, because in year 2025, you have been one of the key leaders, and 27% was your market share at the end of the calendar year. This year looks even more interesting in terms of the new launches. What could be the market share positioning? Any plans, any aims that you have set for yourself, and what could be really exciting within your EV portfolio?
Well, we have always said that this is a new and developing segment. We had some supply chain problem, but we have always said that we want a strong podium finish, number one, number two, preferably number one, going forward. And the exact market share is a consequence of what happens. We are always trying to optimize the top line and the bottom line. So it's not a very unidimensional approach to gaining market share. It's an optimization between the brand position, the market share, and of course, the bottom line. And to support this, the portfolio of Chetak is going to be expanded. We did take a dip in Q2 because of supply chain issues, which very happily we have come out of, and therefore sequentially market share has improved. Now with the new products, and we will be making some announcements for a new addition to the Chetak family by middle of January, and hopefully that will keep the wheel moving even faster.
Okay, so that's the view when it comes to what the outlook is going forward.
Recording
Mr.
stopped.
Sharma, thank you so much for taking your time out and joining us here on ET Now and helping us decode what the outlook is for Bajaj Auto going forward. On that note, we need to slip into a very short break, but more news and updates will continue on the other side. Don't go anywhere.